Welcome back. This segment of The Sports Source is brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Since 1971, they've been taking care of homes all across East Tennessee. They're also the largest locally owned pest control company in East Tennessee, which means the money you spend stays here at home. Visit southeasttermite.com. John is getting ready for something special a little bit later on the other set in the segment, so I'm here with Jimmy, Chuck, and Mark. And Mark, a few weeks ago, Tennessee had an ugly loss against Colorado. Since then, Tennessee has won every game, including 3 games in the Bahamas at the Battle for Atlantis Championship. What did that mean for Tennessee? What can that mean later in the season with Tennessee beating a top 5 ranked Kansas and getting that preseason tournament championship?
Well, it was interesting. So this has been my first time being down here. I've been here 15 years since Tennessee football has been as successful as they have been this season. And I felt some of people's reaction to that loss against Colorado, although it was ugly, had the effect of like Tennessee football was doing so well, and then Tennessee basketball comes out and just lays an egg, and it just hurt people more. I do think Colorado, they learned a lot. They learned about moving the basketball. They got stationary against Colorado, give them credit. But then going to the Bahamas and playing with more focus offensively. We'll talk more about their assist-to-turnover ratio, but how they handled those quality teams, the way they shot it, and what they did to get those open shots. You could tell they learned a lot from that loss at Colorado.
And guys, winning the Battle for Atlantis without Josiah Jordan-James, a senior leader, one of the best defenders in the country. Defense was terrific against Kansas. What about playing that way without Josiah?
I was really impressed with that. I think it speaks to their depth, number one. Also, Josiah Jordan-James is leading them in three-point shooting. Now, that may not be at the end of the year, but he is a capable three-point shooter. He can defend just about anybody, and I think it actually helps him from this standpoint. You're seeing more minutes out of Meshack, right?
Right.
And he's playing pretty well. I don't know necessarily that Adu got more minutes because of that.
Maybe Tyreek Key.
Yeah, so you're seeing other guys get some minutes, being productive. I think that'll help them later. But when they get James back, I think it'll make them that much better. And on defense, and they're pretty good on defense right now, aren't they?
Yeah, and anytime you can go on, if you're playing on a neutral floor, guys, and you win 3 games in 3 days, that builds confidence, I think, for later on. So, I mean, it was really good to see. But what was it? Number 22 Tennessee against number 3 or 4 Kansas, and Tennessee was favored by 1.5. So it was great to see them win and win comfortably.
Well, one guy you didn't mention is Julian Phillips. And that game against USC, that would have been how they used Josiah into beating that zone offense. And they stuck Julian Phillips at that high post area. And as a freshman in big environments, the way that he played.
Looked like the 5-star.
He sure did.
Big time.
He sure did.
We'll talk more Tennessee basketball coming up right now. John's standing by with some very special guests.
Thanks, Josh. This show's a lot easier when you just sit back and watch it. I like that. For years here at Sports Source, we have taken a role in promoting prostate cancer awareness on the show. But with this being our 20th year, we wanted to do something that impacted an even greater slice of the community, and that was Alzheimer's. And I had some connections with the group Alzheimer's Tennessee. I know they're a fantastic group. You can look it up by every metric. They just do wonderful work. And I thought, let's take a role in helping them, because they do so much for people dealing with Alzheimer's, but also the family, the loved ones who have to deal with the people dealing with Alzheimer's. So we asked our sponsors to get together, and our Beat the House segment all year was sponsored in a way to benefit Alzheimer's Tennessee. So the sponsors here at the Sports Source got together and raised $18,750 for the folks at Alzheimer's Tennessee, who are represented here today by an old coworker of mine, Larry Effler, right there. Larry, you're micless, but thank you for being here. Just nod and smile. I wish you worked that way when we worked together years ago. Next to you, Janice Wade Whitehead. And Jan, thank you very much for being here today. Tell folks what Alzheimer's Tennessee, and we'll show them in a minute how our viewers can also get involved in something like this. But tell folks, when you get donations like this, when you do your walks to raise money, how do you spend that money? What kind of programs are you doing for people dealing with this horrible disease that affects so many of us?
Well, first of all, wow, what a wonderful donation, what a wonderful impact this will make. So whether or not you think you may have a problem with memory issues, call Alzheimer's Tennessee. We're on the Pike, we're on Kingston Pike in the purple building. Purple is one of our signature colors, and orange, so we're all good today. call us. We can connect you with a specialist. We can get you a diagnosis if that's where that leads. And if you do get a diagnosis, once again, call Alzheimer's Tennessee. Talk to people who have lived well with a diagnosis and have figured this out. We have a wonderful mentoring program. We have a program called Memory Cafe, virtually and in person. And then, as you mentioned, it's not just the person with diagnosis, but family members, care partners, caregivers walk that journey with them. And so for them, we can help create a plan. We can come to you. Sometimes people don't know what's available and what they may need. So for them, we have support groups. We can offer financial aid. We run an adult day center. So there's lots of resources there. So I would just say, don't walk this journey alone. And of course, we advocate, are involved in research. We anticipate a new drug being approved in March, and so those are all very, very encouraging. So gifts like this really do help your neighbors, your family members, people you go to church. You'll see the results from these gifts and gifts like this, and as you mentioned, our upcoming walk in April 22nd.
Well, let me go ahead and show people how our folks can get involved. You can make a donation yourself to the Knoxville Walk to Make Alzheimer's a Memory. You can go to alztennessee.org/sports to make a donation right there. And if you forget that, you can just go to their website, and I'm sure you can punch around until you can find a way to give them a donation of your own. Larry, Janice, thanks for the good work you do. And I once again want to thank our entire Sports Source family of sponsors for taking part of this.
That's impressive.
I brought this to them, I think, in September or October, and everybody, it's amazing how many of my sponsors have been touched by this disease. So it's an important thing for us to do in this community, and this is a really good group. Thank you for being here. When we come back, we got more basketball to talk about with Mark Pancratz. We got bowl talk to talk about. Lots more coming on the Sports Source. Come on back.